Hey guys, thanks for joining us today. I wanted to come on here and tell you a little bit more about clicker training. Here at Nose to Tail Dog Training, we are positive based, do clicker training. So what clicker training is, sorry, dog's trying to get over the counter. Clicker training is a science-based kind of training that is geared towards behavior modification. So we want to train the dog when they do the things we want them to do. They're going to get rewarded more for it, and that is going to cause them to decrease the unwanted behaviors that they're doing now. So, and it takes a lot of time. When you're developing a new behavior, you are basically creating new neural pathways in their brain of learning anything new. It's just like, when we go learn a new skill or go to college or, school or whatever, we're learning something new and it takes a while. Same thing with our dogs. So the clicker is a mechanical marker. And when I say a marker, when we're talking about, Ruby, and when I say marker, that just means that we're going to mark the behavior that we want. So you have to kind of think of it as taking a picture of the behavior you want in the dog's brain, so they do it more than we want, and are more willing to do it. So a marker can be several different things. Usually we do clickers because the noise of the clicker actually reaches their amygdala faster than our voice does. Their amygdala is responsible for decision making and processing. So Ruby. Another way to mark a behavior is verbally, so by using your voice. When I teach this, I teach people to do both, because maybe you're out with your dog, you don't have your clicker, and you want to mark a certain behavior. You always have your voice with you, and so it's still going to be effective. So to get started, Ruby's had a little bit of experience with the clicker. So if she's taking to it quicker than maybe your dog does when you start them, that's why she's had just a little bit more experience. But she's still young. She's about 9 months. She's a foster, hasn't had a whole lot of training. So we're going to work on marker conditioning now. So we're going to get her used to the clicker as a marker, and I'm going to back it up with my voice. The voice marker, you want something that's like one syllable, so mine is yes. So to start this, you're not going to ask them to do anything because they don't know anything yet. You're going to click, say your verbal marker, and then give them a treat. So the treat is a reinforcement. So when they do what we want them to do, what we're asking them to do, they're going to get rewarded for it. Just like, you wouldn't go to work without getting a paycheck. So, and there's several different types of reinforcement. The most common is treats, because dogs seem to be a little bit more treat motivated than normal. There's also, if your dog isn't real treat motivated, there's some training you can do to kind of get them to eat, because taking treats is a behavior. Or if your dog is more toy motivated, you can use a toy, or you can use praise. There's some others you can use, but those are the main ones. So we're using, and you want something that they're going to eat and pay attention to. So I'm using hot dogs because, she really likes hot dogs. All right, so we're going to start our marker conditioning. Ruby. So I'm not going to ask her to do anything, like I said, because she doesn't know. So I'm going to click, say my marker word, and then give her a treat. So, yes. Yes. After you do this about 5 or 6 times, they really, yes, they start getting the hang of it pretty fast. Yes. Yes. So you want to use your marker and click. Leave it every time they do something that you want. And then you want to back it up with reinforcement. Again, there's different types of reinforcement. So say you're out and you don't have treats with you, you can use praise. You can use touch, pet them, get really excited. Any type of that is still a marker, even though maybe you don't have treats on you or your clicker. Or your clicker is a reinforcement, or your clicker is your marker and your treats are your reinforcement. There's other types of reinforcement, I was trying to say, if you don't have treats with you and they're doing really good. All right, so you see how she's paying attention to me now. She's like, okay, we're working. So I like this whole thing. So I like getting treats. I like doing what I'm supposed to do. So I'm gonna click her now because she's being quiet when she looks at me. Good girl. This is the focus game. So the more your dog is focused on you, the more you're working as a team and the more success you're gonna have. It's no fun to go out and fight your dog because if you're not working as a team, both of you have different agendas and that is no fun. So I'm gonna throw a treat out to kind of get her, now she's just glued to me, which is what we want, but we want to increase the criteria and you want to do that little by little. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw a treat out, not far, just down in front of her a little bit to get her just not focused on me. I'm going to wait for her to focus back on me. Yes. Yes. All right, so throw the treat out, get her focus off of me. Yes. And your dogs are really smart. They're going to start looking at your hand because they know that that's where the treat comes from. Make sure that you bring the treat up to your face because we want our dogs to give us eye contact. Yes. Get it. And so when you're training your dog, make sure that when you kind of get the habit of this and hang of this, make sure you start looking away, looking up, not always looking at your dog. Because your dog needs to learn how to pay attention to you when you're not always looking at them. Like I said, just something, you can kind of see them out of the peripheral vision, but you know, it's okay to keep an eye on them at first until you get used to this. All this stuff is, you almost need octopus to do all this stuff. So once you kind of get used to all the hang of the click and the treats and all that, you know, you can start looking away and so your dog gets used to working without you looking at them. So Ruby is a foster and she's a puppy. She's kind of a high energy puppy. May have some healer in her, but one thing she likes to do when she gets excited is jump and meets new people. She likes to jump. So we're going to teach her. She's settled for that, so I'm going to give her a treat for that. See, I'm looking away and that she's still looking at me. That's what you eventually want to get to when you feel comfortable with the leash and the clicker and all this. So when you're starting, you're doing these training exercises, have them on leash so you can kind of control where they're going to be. And so it's a little bit easier for them to pay attention to you if they're closer in proximity to you. So I'm going to give her a treat now because she laid down. That's what we want. We want them to focus. All right, so Ruby sometimes has a tendency to like to jump. So we want to teach her how to greet people nicely. So their nose is equivalent to our hand. And so we're going to give her a target of where to meet people, and this is called a nose target. You can do a lot of different target training, and this is the nose target. So up, up. Yes. So what you're going to do is you're just going to put your hand like 1/4 of an inch in front of their face. If they don't have to touch it right off the bat, if they just move their nose or head towards your hand, we're going to mark that. But eventually we want them to bump your hand with their nose. So she knows where the treats are coming from. So this is pretty new to her. And this is okay. If your dog doesn't do it right away, you're going to be patient. Because remember, you are building new connections in their brain because you're teaching them new things. So sometimes they need a little bit to think about it and process and make a good decision. So if you rush it and don't give them the opportunity to make the decision, you're not really helping them. Yes. And make sure you do it with both hands. Yes. After about 5 seconds, if you kind of lose them, I'll ask them again. But when you're training, you don't want to keep saying the same cue over and over. So I'm just going to kind of step forward. You're going to look at me, hand back down. All right, and then we're working again. Good touch. She doesn't know the cue to touch yet, but you can start telling them what they did so they can start associating the behavior with the movement. She's a little stubborn puppy. She knows what I want her to do. Yes, good girl. She knows the treats come from my hand. So you may encounter that. So that's when you have to just wait them out. They know, but they're just trying to see if I'll just give in and give her a treat. Yes, good girl. Once they get really good doing it close, you can move your hand out a little bit. Yes, good touch. Good touch. Yes, good touch. When they're doing it about 5 to 6 times without any cues, and we're adding the cue to it. So that was a positive interrupter. So she's getting, all the other dogs really want to work. So she's getting distracted. So if your dog kind of gets distracted, you can say their name. I did little kissy noises. And then when they focus back on you, give you back their attention, we're going to mark that. Because when our dogs get distracted, we want to be able to get them focused back on us. Like I said, starting out, these new behaviors, you're going to have to be patient with your dog. Like I said, she knows. Good. Okay. Leave it. Touch. Yes. So she got a little distracted when I moved my hand further back. So we're going to take a step back because I increased criteria too quickly. There's too many distractions going on. And I'm going to move my hand closer back to her nose. Touch. Good girl. Touch. So when I put my hand down there, she looked at it. She knows exactly what she's supposed to do. But again, she's hard-headed. She's going to try to take the shorter route if possible. See if I'll give in and give her a treat. So we're going to wait her out. I want her to walk away. Come here. Yes, good girl. Come here. And 2, puppies have a short attention span. So if you see your dog kind of like, she's constantly like kind of checking out on me, then I'm going to do some really good ones and then end on a good note. So that little scratch right there, that was a little appeasement behaviors, a little calming signal. So we're going to end on something really fun that she knows. So come here, sit. Yes, good girl. Get it. Sit. Yes, good girl. Get it. So dogs learn by patterns and games. Games are patterns. So, and it's more fun for you to train if it's a fun little game like this. So have fun with your training. Find games you can do to teach you behavior. Sit. Yes, good girl. And remember, your dog is always in training. So when you're starting out and they're learning new things, your dog is always in training. Not just a couple 10-minute sessions a day. So every time you handle your dog, if you handle them the same, have the same expectations every time you handle your dog, the faster they're going to take to the training and they're going to change those behaviors and you're going to see a better behavior modification. Sit. Yes, good girl. Good girl. And then end on a big note. He's a good girl. He's so good. He's such a good girl. He's such a good girl. All right, thanks for joining us today. Stay tuned. We'll be back for more lives and training.